Hey, this is Jared, and you're watching Backroad Exploration. I'm out on another adventure in one of my favorite areas. There's some places that just keep calling to you, and this area outside of Green River, in between Green River, Utah and Moab, is one of the ones that's always calling to me. It's so beautiful. The rock formations are amazing. The desert landscape is absolutely stunning, and there are trails everywhere. Even though I've been out here several times and done a bunch of trips out in this direction, I'm going to be on all trails that I've never been on before. Really looking forward to spending the next day or two out exploring, finding a beautiful place to camp tonight. It's going to be a really good adventure. Let's hit the trail. Now, I'm really excited because this is our first daddy-daughter only camp out. The boys couldn't miss any school. Wyatt's got a basketball game tomorrow, so Lauren's going to be taking him to that. And I've got Charlotte, Molly, myself exploring the desert. It's going to be epic. Right now we're at Crystal Geyser, which is just outside of Green River, Utah. You can see it going, kind of erupting back here. It's a cold water geyser, I believe created from drilling for mining. So basically like they're drilling down super deep to test different things, and they end up hitting water pockets that then send the water up. This has been around for a really long time, and it kind of has a little bit of a sulfuric smell that you get from some geysers, but it's not like a hot water geyser that has a really strong, you know, sulfur smell to it. But just right next to Green River, it's a nice cool little stop, and you can see it's really pretty in this area. One of the many reasons that I love just exploring out in this desert. There were a lot of homesteads and stuff in this area, and you run across old buildings, things like that. I don't know any of the history behind this behind me, but it was some type of a dugout. Looks like it was probably a house with like some type of a cold storage back in there. Sometimes people kept like barns and stuff out here too, so I'm not sure, but totally built out of rock, built into the side of the hill. Really interesting. Check this out. desert trail just keeps getting better and better. It's quite windy. There's these huge, beautiful boulder rock formations on the sides that absolutely loving and really enjoying exploring. Turned out to be a perfect day out in the desert. Well, I haven't decided if it's because I'm super soft now or because Charlotte isn't as hardcore about seat time as the boys and I are on our adventures. We're definitely taking a few more stops than I normally would, but when I get to stop and check out views like this, every single second of it's worth it. How's it going? You having fun? Okay. Look at these amazing rocks right here. Just trying to find a campsite. I'd love to camp right here, but it doesn't look like there's actually a spot to do so. But these rock formations right down this little spur trail that I was checking out, absolutely beautiful. Well, right now we're wandering down some really cool, Jeep side-by-side ATV type trails that I've really enjoyed. Just trying to find a little spot we can pull off and camp. So hopefully we run across something soon. It's almost 5 o'clock, and by about 5:15 it's going to start getting dark. Well, I wouldn't say that this is like our normal type of spot, but there's a little turnout right here. We're in a really remote area, so shouldn't be any issue just camping right here for the night. Well, we have made it to what we're going to call camp for the night. There's actually some really incredible views back behind me, this beautiful mountain range. We've kind of been down in a little bit of a wash, and we kind of came up on a plateau. From looking at the map, it looks like it drops back down into the wash for a little ways, so I think this is going to be our best spot to find to pull off for the night. I started looking for a camp like almost an hour ago and just wasn't really finding anything that I liked, so I'm happy that this is a nice level spot. We're out of the way. It's a pretty remote trail, so that we're just off a little bit. I don't really anticipate anybody coming by. Normally I like to be a little bit further away, like down a spur, but all of the spur trails that I was finding just didn't have a good site, or maybe it wasn't level, things like that. So this should be a nice little spot. I wanted to be able to stop, get out, let Charlotte stretch her legs, and start working on some dinner and stuff before it gets dark, because it's still the middle of January, and it starts getting dark real early. It's not even quite 5 o'clock yet, and the sun is on its way down. Now, I do have a couple of changes in the Jeep that I've highlighted in some recent videos, but let me jump in here and show you what's going on. I added this platform rack that goes across that then I can stack gear up on top of it, which I'm excited about. Kind of help take better advantage of this space up high. And then next big thing I've done, picked up a fridge, which I'm really excited about. Admittedly, it's been the winter, so I have used it several times, but I don't know how big of a deal it was to have it. When I drive, it is plugged in back here, and then that runs to the jackery that I have underneath the seat in the rear. when I'm stopped, I let Molly out already, so when I'm stopped, I unplug it, and then it just runs off of the Jackery for the night, and really excited about that. But just having a fridge is going to be awesome, not having to deal with ice and things like that. We've got tons of food in here, probably 3 or 4 days worth, and we're just spending the night, but really excited about that. I'm loving this platform. It's really, really handy. I'm trying to figure out exactly which bins I want to do so that I can double stack a bin on one side and then leave the other side either a single stack or open for some of our other type gear. Like I've got some sleeping bags just stuffed up here and things like that. But this DeWalt one that I have, I don't know if I have enough space above there to double stack a bin, so I'm going to be doing some testing there to see if I can't take a little bit better advantage of that space up there. Normally I've just been putting in a sleeping pad, which is fine, but it's kind of a little check at the rear of the Jeep. So how's our first camping trip going?
Good.
You liking it?
Yes.
She's thrilled to be out of the Jeep and playing around a little bit before it starts getting dark and super cold, huh?
Yes.
Cool. All right, keep playing. I'm going to start working on making some dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
You make dinner in the house.
So not a lot's changed on top of the Jeep. Still usually run with 2 bins unless I'm taking the whole family, and then I put a 3rd bin in just to carry more sleeping gear. The bin over here on the left is all tools, some oil, you know, just kind of some random things like that, a tow strap and things like that that I don't plan on having to access very often. And then this bin I have over here on the passenger side, that has my Everest Camp Chef stove and a few of our cooking things as well. I don't think I'll be busting out the awning. I don't really need it as a break for the heat or anything right now, since it's the middle of January and it's probably in the high 30s at the moment. But it's kind of a little overview of the Jeep. If you new to the channel, kind of gives you a little bit of idea what I'm working with. When it comes to cooking on adventures, I really like to keep things pretty simple. I'm certainly not a gourmet chef at all. My wife is actually an excellent cook, so when she comes, the level of our food just really steps up. Especially when I'm going on trips with just my kids. I've got to keep my eyes on them, so cooking and watching them can be kind of difficult. So I like quick things. A lot of times we'll make something earlier in the week that then can just be reheated. So for example, yesterday we made some delicious fajitas. Fajitas reheat well, and so I've got a bunch of that inside the fridge. That way all I got to do is get it heated up and we're going to have a delicious dinner. That's a nice simple thing to do. Breakfasts, I'm doing things like breakfast sandwiches or things like that that are simple, easy, quick, easy to clean up. In fact, tomorrow I'm taking a little cue from my friend Donald over at Soft-Roading the West. He loves granola. He's recommended multiple times for me to do like yogurt and granola, something like that. And Charlotte, that's like her favorite thing on the planet. So we're going to be doing some yogurt and granola in the morning. Not super sexy to film, but super practical, filling, and actually really tasty. So anyways, let's get cooking on these fajitas. So I've talked about this thing like a million times, but I absolutely love this fold down table from Front Runner Outfitters. The most used accessory that I've added to the Jeep. Every time I stop to cook, I prop it down. Even if I'm making sandwiches, things like that, it just gives a nice surface to work from. There's a bunch of companies that make these. Front Runners is kind of in the middle price-wise. It's not the most expensive, not the least expensive, but it's been really durable. Use it all the time. I can tell that I've been doing a lot of off-roading. It's a little dusty back here. It needs a little bit of cleaning, but it'll be good. So it works as a perfect platform for me for my stove. So I've just got, a bunch of fajita food, some nice chicken, onions, peppers, things like that. Easy to reheat. It's going to taste really good. Also super easy to clean up after, which is really nice when you're out on trips, not having to use tons of water for cleaning, things like that. The other thing I like about stuff like this, it's really quick because you're just reheating it. When it's freezing cold, you don't want to be out cooking for like 2 hours. So even though it looks nice and dry, there's not really a lot of snow that gets put down here. It's already, I would guess, when we stopped it was like in the high 30s. It's getting close to 35 already. So it's cool. It's not freezing or anything, but it's cool. and it's only going to get colder. It'll get down into the 20s tonight, but we'll be nice and cozy in the Jeep. But I like food like this. It's warm, heats up quick, delicious, and nice and easy to clean up after, so that I can get everything taken away, get our beds built, and start getting ready for bed. I've got everything set up just barely in time. I think it's going to work pretty decent with Charlotte and I. Now, it wouldn't work with either of the boys. They're too tall, but she's just short enough that she can fit in that short space between, where the seat's laid down and the back of the fridge is at. A lot of times people want to know, like, hey, what do you do in the evenings? Honestly, because I'm a dad and I'm usually going with little kids, it's helping them out, getting them ready for bed, things like that. The boys are getting old enough that they're getting into fires now, so we've been building fires and sitting around the fire and stuff. But where we pulled off, there's not a fire ring. I don't like building fire rings. I usually like, if I'm going to use one, I want to go somewhere where there already is one. And with her, she has an early bedtime, so she and I are going to jump in. We'll watch a show. I usually try to pick a show that I liked from my childhood that I think my kids will like. Kind of gives us something to relate on. So she and I are going to watch that. She'll probably fall asleep, and then if normally I'd maybe get out and build a fire and do something like that, but since it's going to be really cold tonight, I'll just stay in there kind of cuddling, keeping her warm. But if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for all of the adventures we're going to be doing tomorrow. It's going to be a ton of fun. Thanks so much for watching.